really build this together.
Yeah, and that is true, Ryan. Remember, yes, the talk is all about the black racism. It didn't start today. It didn't start in this decade. There's always been the talk, and it's always going to happen until we take control of the narrative. Okay, you that's been.
Good morning, good
So
afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are on planet Earth. My name is Kenny Bazwaya, and today is a beautiful day. Before we start, let me first of all give a very big thank you to all our sponsors all over the world, all our viewers all over the world, all our listeners, and ultimately our sponsor, Simi African Grocery. He's going bigger, better. New locations every day in different locations. I want to say shout out to special thank you to Simi African Grocery. They are located at 50 Eddystone. That's the headquarters now. They have series of locations as we speak to serve you. So I always say there are two African grocery in Ontario. There is Simi African Grocery and there is the rest. As we're here right now today, we're going to be talking about something that have struck my mind. Sometimes last 2 weeks, as an individual, I, Kenny Bazwaye, on my own, not as a company now or where I work, endorse the governor of Edo State, which is Governor Noah Godwin Obaseki. But today there are breaking news coming out from Edo State right there, coming out from Nigeria to be precise. We're going to quickly go on that video that we have where there was some special announcement that was made disqualifying the current Edo State governor to become a candidate on the upcoming election that is supposed to be happening, I believe, on the 22nd of this month. The APC has officially disqualified the governor of Edo State as a candidate. We're going to quickly go on that video. And on the other side, we have our senior political analyst, Mr. Ibrahim Aruna Ola, waiting on the other side to join us soon. He's going to be talking about all this. He's going to be disseminating all the information. He's going to be drilling into the details as to what has happened. So while we are waiting for him, while we are queuing him in, as you already see on the screen, let's go on that video and see what what is happening right now in Edo State and in Nigeria at large.
Was effective. The NYC certificate of the National Service Corps and the act that the aspirant taking the party to court, because these are some of the issues to which we have attached, and based on the party constitution, this has made us to recommend that the above candidate, therefore, His Excellency Godwin Obaseki is not eligible to participate in the election. Let me just expatiate. During our interaction, which was done live, he informed us that he had instituted a suit against the party and the chairman of the party. And yesterday, we received all the documents of those processes. And we had to rely on the party constitution because it's stated clearly that all remedies should be carried through party process and party machineries. Most of these instances give opportunity for if there are evidences that such has been done which has not been supplied. And this is one of the reasons that we've delayed, because there are certain documents that we requested, not even under oath. We wanted to give the opportunity that it should be supplied. Up to this afternoon, none of the documents has been returned to us. So our decisions are based on what has been before us. So all these documents are attached, and all the references and all the authorities as I've cited are also attached. The last candidate we screened was Idoreme Kewe Matthew, and our recommendation is that because also he already instituted a case before a court in which the evidence was brought before him, and he also admitted that that's what he done before even trying to go through the internal process of the party. And since the Constitution is clear about such actions and such decisions, it is the view of the committee that is not qualified and eligible to participate in the exercise. So these are our findings, our observations, and as I've said, all our observations and findings are based on this document. So, gentlemen of the press, I would advise if any comments that you might make later or in your publications, please be guided by what has been produced, not by emotions. Mr. Chairman, sir, thank you for the opportunity given to us.
Welcome back, welcome back. I want to believe that you saw that video that was shown. Waiting here is our senior political analyst, Mr. Ibrahim Aruna, waiting on the screen here. Mr. Ibrahim, how are you today? How did you receive this message, sir? The message that we heard that an incumbent governor, a man that was tested and proven before he was elected to govern the states by a political party. How do you receive the news today when the same political party today now say he's no longer qualified? What do you say to this, Mr. Ibrahim?
Thank you for bringing me up always, and to our viewers, always here to talk about the political situation in Nigeria. And in this case, I'm going to do justice. I'm going to be fair. I'm going to talk about the issue as is. So having received the news, for the first thing I did was actually try to dig in the sense that I wanted to know the reason behind that. And I also want to check the processes. I wanted to see on what basics. And so that, and that's what I'm going to be talking on here. I'm going to do justice. I'm not going to be biased, just to be honest. And I think we're going to enjoy the show.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy. I want to first of all say that for those that are just seeing your face for the first time, Ibrahim Aruna is a man of few words, and he's our senior political, the first ever GBKM FM senior political analyst. Sir, thank you for contributing your time. Thank you for being with us. Thank you very much. And above it all, thank you for your straight shooting. You don't look right, you don't look left. You shoot straight the way it should be. What
Thank you.
is
I'm
going on in APC, Mr. Aruna?
Like I said, you know, I want to analyze the issues, and maybe this is going to help all Nigerians. Maybe this is going to help even those in PDP, in any political party. I'm going to talk about what has been going on in Edo State and to where it is right now. And so before we come to where we are, there have been a lot of crises going on. There have been a lot of internal angling. And so let's go back to history. You know, the Obaseki, the governor of Edo State, served with the former governor, who is the current chairman of the party, for 8 good years. And after that, he became the governor, right? How he became the governor in terms of qualification, I don't know. But from what I have learned so far, the reason behind where they disqualified him was based on his HSC certificate and also based on his NYC certificate. And the reason they gave was that they don't want what happened in I think Bayelsa State to happen again. They wanted to prevent that. And in terms of maybe somebody may come up at the end of the Well, if he actually wins, they might take them to court again, and they might lose the state. But again, I've done my research. I've also listened to the party chairman because a lot of blame games has been going on. And what happened right now is the chairman said he does not want to talk about it because based on the party internal process, this is just one phase. And Obaseki has another chance to actually appeal. He can still appeal the disqualification by following the process. And that's why I'm saying I'm going to speak about facts. I'm going to speak about the processes of the internal for the APC, what has been going on. And I also want us to talk about the issues. Because if we don't talk about this issue, it's going to keep going. And we need to address
Now,
it.
talking
So,
about the
yeah.
issues,
Yeah.
as one of our senior political analysts, what are the issues, Mr. Ibrahim, on ground?
Well, based on what I've been seeing, and I'm going to talk about what I know, right? And so what I have been hearing, what I have been reading in the news, what I've been hearing the governor saying, I'm going to speak based on that. And I'm going to speak based on leadership. As a student of leadership, what is the expectation? You know, if we find ourselves in this position in future, how we should handle it and avoid this kind of conflict happening. So if you permit me to go there, what has been going on has been a lot of basically talking about the APC, you know, even with this report I have read about how he's talking about, oh, the governor think he owns the party, he's this and all that, right? And about some issues going on in terms of how the Obaseki has always come in the newspaper to talk about the chairman, and even the court case where they disqualified the chairman, you know, as the APC those state, and also went to court to make sure they remove him, right? And if you look at the court, the result from the court, what do they say? The court virtually said that there are internal party processes that can take care of this. You guys should go back and invoke that, to implement that, to make sure you resolve that crisis, that this is not a court case. So that was how the chairman was able to win the last case, right? But so let's go back to what is going on, you know, in terms of, you know, if as I sat with the governor for 8 good years, and I now become the governor, so that means he's been there for 12 years. And now all of a sudden I became the governor, and I started talking bad about the chairman of the party. I started talking about, oh, he didn't do this well, he didn't build the hospital well, and you were the chief of staff. So how come for 8 good years you cannot tell your boss and say, oh, my boss, how about we do this, how about we do that? And now you're not talking against that. And that's why I say I'm going to talk about leadership. You know, as a leader, okay, let's even take a step back and say, let's look at it this way. If Oshimole were to be a Hausa man, or somebody from Ekiti State, or somebody from Akwa or Akwa Ibom, right? We'll be talking something different right now.
But
We'll be saying,
Mr. Olala, permit me to butt in.
okay,
When Obaseki was serving the governor, the former governor, which is the current past governor, with the person of Adams Aliu Oshomole, he was in the cabinet, but he was not decision making. The Adams Oshomole was still the governor. So by default, hold on, sir. By default, you cannot count it as his tenure or as his decision making. By relationship, he may have had 1 or 2 role of influencing decisions, but
yes,
it was not his calling. So
let's address that.
You can say, go ahead.
Let's address that, and this should send a strong signal to whoever that's current chief of staff, whoever that is serving any position right now in Nigeria, you know, that the basic principle of leadership, people need to learn that. He was the chief of staff. He's so powerful. He's the right, actually more powerful than the deputy governor, because he's always with the governor. He's always giving advice to the governor. They're always sitting down together. They're always talking about issues, strategies, everything. Even though he was not the governor, but he was the right right-hand man of the governor.
So are
Say,
you go,
no, no, no,
are you going to
just
say
wait, just
now?
wait, just wait, I haven't finished. Take Fashola, for instance. So Fashola was the chief of staff to Tinubu for those periods. And Tinubu, as a governor, one of the requirements of a leader is, as you are there, you have to start grooming your predecessor. Tinubu groomed Fashola, and Fashola now became the governor. And we all see the good job Fashola did in Lagos State. The same thing Oshimole did to Obaseki. Obaseki groomed, and Oshimole groomed Obaseki, and Obaseki now become the governor. And when you become the governor, what you're supposed to do is to focus on governance, is to focus on the people you are governing, and stop fighting unnecessary fight, right? And the basic principle of party is you don't fight your party member in public. You can have any wrangling you could have, pick a phone call and discuss with that person, or go for a coffee, or go for dinner and trash it out. But don't ever come to
Now, Mr.
public
Aruna,
and be spending and washing your clothes in the public.
if I'm getting you correct, you're saying that in the backdrop of working in the states, providing amenities, doing the job you're actually hired to do, you are taking preference on party loyalty. Is that what you're trying to say?
Anywhere in the world, it is like that. Anywhere in the world. The loyalty has to be there. You need to focus on the governance. If you don't want to take your party chairman advice, that's okay. But don't come to the public and be talking trash about your party chairman, who was actually your former boss, who is actually the same state from you. Even in our culture, we don't do that.
But my question here, first of all, those that are just joining us, Mr. Ibrahim Aruna is our senior political analyst, and he has his opinion. He's always shooting straight. Those that are asking questions, please, I want us to ask questions. We are here right now. We have like about 20 minutes more. By 5:30, we'll be running up. I want us to ask constructive questions here on Facebook, on YouTube, on our website. Ask a question. There are so many questions coming up here, but it looks like it's not a question that I cannot really put there. So I see Mr. Emmanuel here, Lucky is here, every other person is here watching. A lot of people are watching. I respect you guys, but ask questions because let's get to. For me, I'm going to tell you my take on this.
Sure.
And I'm speaking as an individual, as a host,
Yep.
not as a GBKFM
Yep.
staff. I do believe that, given the fact that I'm from that state, I have personally heard, seen indirectly or directly what the governor has done for the state. Against the backdrop of that, I think he should continue what he has done. I personally, as you know, I'm not an APC person, I'm not a PDP person, but I support the governor, and the reason I will keep supporting on my own side, right? I'm speaking for myself now, not for you guys or for GBKFM, because of what I see that he has done. Now, let me know.
And let me respond to that. Let me respond to that. And that's okay. That's fantastic. That's fantabulous. To look at what the governor is doing and based on your perception to support that. And I'm not speaking on behalf of APC. I'm not speaking on behalf of Adam Oshimole. I'm speaking on the basic principle, based on the basic principle of leadership, how in terms of mannerism, in terms of behaviors, right?
Okay, let
me finish. Let me finish. So if the governor is doing well, that's okay. It's up to the people to now say, yeah, let him continue. But one thing I'm trying to advise our leaders in Nigeria is don't fight as a party members. You don't come to public to wash your cloth, right?
But
And
I
make
want to
yourself look
say,
so stupid.
I want to say this. I want to say this though.
Yeah.
That's all rosy and dandy, right? But that also encourage and engineer corruption when we call it in Canada whip. When you are practicing whip, when you are like saying that the political party, when you say that comes first, that's to the detriment of your people that really elect you. Now let me pick you up from the point where you mentioned just now. You said rightly that that's on the people, you are serving the people, that's all good. if you don't pass the primary, you are not going to get a ticket to continue serving the people.
Yep.
So are you now going to be, put yourself now, do you have the people that like you, but you will not serve them unless you get a ticket to come back? And then how do you not trail that? How do you not make? Because party loyalty, to a degree, I can kind of understand where you're coming from. But you know
Yes.
what, the party is not the state.
So I'm trying to talk about how the things have come to where it is right now, and I'm trying to give my own leadership advice to whoever that may be in that position in Nigeria. No, this goes beyond Obaseki, because this is just is one example in Nigeria, and we have so many other examples too, right? But just to answer your question in terms of if he doesn't get the party ticket, and he still have chance to appeal, even though I read in the paper that he said he's not going to appeal. I'm not sure if that comes from him, because we have to be very careful about what we read from the newspaper from Nigeria until it is validated, right? So I heard he said he's not going to appeal, but he still have the chance to appeal. You know, the internal process of the party of APC is when you go through this, and those people who took care of the screening come up with the report, right? The next thing is to appeal. Even Oshimole is not talking right now. He's not saying anything about it now.
Do you think that the fact that, in my opinion, the flimsy, unregrettable opinion, I want to say, in my unregrettable opinion, the flimsy excuses the APC leadership came up with, do you think that's legally correct, or do you think that's ethically correct?
Well, we got to be very careful about perceptions. We also have to be very careful about jumping to conclusion. You know, whenever we're handling issue of national or state or national interest or issues like this, we have to be very careful in terms of how we quickly jump to conclusion, or how we perceive it, or how we now say, oh, this and that, right? But if I have to say something about it, the normal process is he needs to appeal. If he refuses to appeal, then we can come back and start talking about something else, right? But for me, if I were him, I will appeal. I will follow the process and I will appeal. But he also said he appealed to his supporter to not to panic. Maybe he has other card he wants to play. We don't know, right? But the normal process is he needs to appeal. Even Adam Oshimole, who is the party chairman, is not making any comment about the process right now. He is saying that, well, this is the report he got, but his next process is for him to appeal. Because of that, he can't say anything yet.
Yeah, but when it comes to appeal, before we quickly move to appeal, because we have like 15 minutes to round up, it's a thing of choice.
Yeah.
You can decide to appeal or not, and there's always a pros and cons. I'm not prepared. I think it's too juvenile at this stage for us to go into the appeal saga. But leaving it the way it is now, with the general consensus of coming from Edo State, we want to believe that the governor has touched a lot of life when it comes to the job it was hired to do. Do you agree to that?
Sorry, he's doing the job. Oh yeah, because I also see a question. I mean, check the question there. There's also a question about somebody is asking me in terms of which is priority, loyalty to between the loyalty to the people through good governance, which is related to what you're asking me, and serving the party chiefs by buying to godfathers, which Oshimole himself fought with everything he had. So I'm going to answer this question, and thanks my brother the comrade who wrote this question, and I hope he's listening to me, and I'm going to do justice to that. So let's separate the wheat from the shaft. You know, there are a lot of wranglings going on, there are a lot of hearsay, there are a lot of things going on about this loyalty or no loyalty. It is normal to be loyal. That's nothing wrong in leadership. You know, somebody who has been your leader and groomed you for 8 good years and now become the governor. So it is a betrayal of trust. It is a betrayal of loyalty for you to now come and start fighting the same person instead of you to focus on the good governance. So I don't know the good governance the guy is talking
about. But my
about.
question here is that
Let me finish. Let me
Permit
finish.
me to butt in. Permit me to butt in. When you were talking about good governance, what about the process that put you there is impaired? And now you
Where
know that the process is impaired and it's going to obstruct you for carrying out the work, the activities in which you are hired. As a matter of fact, you are voted to do and you swore a oath to. What will you do in that scenario?
there are ways to address that. So if the process is skewed, as a governor, you have the power there are laws, there are rules that as a governor you have the power to do. If you govern within those rules and the laws of the state, you'll be okay. Even I heard that he didn't even do the right thing when he's supposed to call the and the state assembly to order, right?
Talking
So
about the right thing, I'm going to cut you short. Let's go back on that video, the video that was the decision they made today. Let's quickly go back on that video because I want you to look at it analytically, and I want you to weigh in based on that video that you see there. And I'll tell you my own findings because I have in the studio with the entire team. We have watched this video over 15 times. And I will be able to tell you my
no,
opinion.
no, I've seen the video. So because of the time, because we also have other question that I still want to answer on the forum. So what is that you want to talk about from the video? Let's just talk about it, then we can answer the other question for our people.
If you look at the video in my own view as a host, right, there was no bearings in the sense that if the candidate, I would say, this is the first time, it's not an incumbent, then there could be some leverage. This is a governor in the South Side that have held down the political party, which is APC, for that party. The only difference in my own submissive opinion at this point was that he's not playing ball. But overall, you and I can agree that he was performing very well. Is that sufficient to come up with a bogus, catastrophic decision, in my own submissive opinion, that has murdered democracy again for the 55th times in the history of Nigeria?
Okay, so let me answer to that. So based on performance, if somebody is performing, that's okay. If he's doing well, that is what he's been elected to do anyway. All governors are supposed to take care of their people by doing the right thing and making sure they create economic buoyancy for the state, to ensure that they provide jobs for the people, to ensure that people have food on the table, and provide security and all the infrastructure for the state. That's the job of the governor, right? If he does well, there's no brainer about that, right? That's what he's supposed to do. Any governor who's not doing that in Nigeria, those are not qualified to be governors. But answer your question in terms of somebody say about this qualification, if he's been there, they said the process that maybe he escaped it. They also said what he presented in the first term is different from the paper he presented when he was coming in for the governor.